Hey guys, Alex from Central Floor Enthusiast, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about why I like Lightning Rod better than Steel Vengeance. A little bit of a controversial topic, so this should be a good one. Alright, so why do I think Steel Vengeance is overrated? There's a lot of reasons. The first way I would actually describe this ride is quantity over quality, and that's not to say the elements aren't quality on this coaster. There are some very sustained moments of airtime, but there's other coasters with even more sustained ejector. There are other coasters that have better quality of ejector. There's other coasters with better airtime, just in general, even better inversions. There's not one particular element on this ride that is absolutely mind-blowing. Versus like rides like Lightning Rod or I-305. Lightning Rod has the quadruple down, and that is still to this day the best airtime moments I have ever experienced. I-305, that first turn, I literally lost consciousness on. Granted, like I said in Monday's video, I was trying to lose consciousness. I wasn't eating much and I didn't get much sleep, so I was trying to black out. But even still, there's not one particular moment on Steel Vengeance that stands out from the rest. It's just the whole ride as a whole stands out, and it's more than deserving of its #1 status for people. If you care about airtime, and if you're looking for a ride that has the most airtime and is really good quality airtime, yeah, no, there's not a better coaster than Steel Vengeance. But if you don't really care about the airtime, or no, if you don't really care about the amount of airtime and you're only looking for the quality of airtime, there are coasters that have better quality airtime. Overall, this ride, I think there needs to be a few people that kind of just stands out there and says, yes, this is the #1 coaster in the world, but it may not be your #1 coaster in the world. And that kind of seems like an oxymoron, but it really is true. Like, I completely agree. Like, yes, that is, for most people, this is the best coaster in the world. For most people. But there needs to be people going out there and saying, hey, if you only care about the amount of airtime, yes, this will be your #1. If you do not care about the length, then this may not be your #1. This will probably be like your #2, or at least in your top 5, for sure. Another thing about Steel Vengeance is it's 205 feet tall. It has a 90-degree drop, and it's an RMC. I mean, those three things together sounds absolutely insane. So you would expect that to be like the best drop in the world. Not exactly the case. Fury at Carowinds, that ride has such a better drop. I mean, I remember getting a little bit of ejector, but because it was 90 degrees, it almost felt too smooth going through it. And I think that's kind of what I was talking about in my top 10s list. was it's a little bit too smooth as well. The forces are all still there, but I don't feel attached to the train. Versus like on like a ride like Lightning Rod, like I feel like I am personally attached to this train, and it's hard to explain. And I guess that's just the inner car guy in me, with a butt dyno, just being able to feel everything. Now, why is Lightning Rod better in my opinion? I mean, first and foremost, that launch is just absolutely incredible on that ride. The launch is really good. I put it maybe like a step or two below the second launch on Maverick, but it's really good. You're going uphill and it's very forceful. I think for me, that is definitely one of the more forgettable elements, just because obviously I live in Orlando. I go to Universal all the time and I ride the Hulk all the time. And those two launches feel pretty similar. So it's nothing I'm not used to. But then you go over those double dollies, and those are just fun. Like you're up on top of this mountain. The first one, you used to get ejector going over it. Now you just get a little bit of floater. The second one, you definitely get a lot more ejector, and then you just dive down, and you're out of the park. That wave turn is really good. The airtime is really good. It's not sustained like Twisted Cyclone's wave turn is. And then you come back around, and then you go over that like overbank to outward bank to overbank turn. I don't even know what to call that. But that's a crazy element that has like laterals and airtime and whip. And then you go into another element that's very similar to that. And then you approach the double down and you're just hauling. And meanwhile, there's like, whenever I went there was like all these like trees laying down on the ground that had like fallen over, and you're like coming off like the side of the mountain, and you're just hauling, and then you come to the double down and you get some ejector, and then you pick up speed. Like you physically feel the train getting faster. And usually when coasters like feel like they get faster, it's not until like you're at your top speed where you're like, oh, we're going significantly faster. No, you can feel yourself just going faster, because you hit these airtime hills a lot faster, and then the next one you're hitting it faster, and then the next one you're hitting it faster, and it just gets more and more and more insane. And then you finally come down to that last little dip that's actually not included on the double down, or quadruple down. That final moment is just absolutely insane. And then you go over the half loop, and I feel like you pull some very decent positive G's on that. And you come up, you get a little bit of ejector, and then you just slam down into the brakes. That ride could be a little bit longer, but my God, those elements all together is just something magical. That quadruple down and then that final airtime hill is just absolutely incredible. That's really what does that ride for me, is that those few elements together are better than any element on Steel Vengeance, in my opinion. And that's ultimately what I'm looking for. Which ride has my favorite element? So, yes, Steel Vengeance is overhyped for me. It may not be overhyped for you. So, keep that in mind. I think overall, I personally care more about the quality of elements rather than the quantity. I don't really because my top two are two of the shortest rides of their types. I mean, Lightning Rod's one of the shortest RMCs. I-305, it feels like one of the shortest Gigas ever made, even though it's middle of the pack in terms of length. It feels shorter than everyone else. But ultimately, I think I end up preferring Lightning Rod just because those collection of elements as a whole is just better. So that's what I look for. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Alex from Central Florida Enthusiast. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done that already. If you already are, please consider hitting that notification button so you can stay up to date with everything we do. If you like this video, drop us a like. Also, give us a comment. Let us know where we messed up. Anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Alex checking out. Bye.